New leftist move just erupts. Now they are trying to take away major constitutional right from senior citizens. You'll be furious for national news, politics, national news. The left you want to disclose to you that they're not a group of extremists. They are, and they are deceiving you. We should confront certainties. Liberals have an agenda. To ensure that agenda, libs do their best to stifle conservative votes. It's disgusting, however, common and furthermore essential governmental issues. The present strategy is new. In any case, the old techniques for vote suppression typically included fake news. You need the country's liberals to overlook the advantages of the conservative agenda. Simply call the conservatives racist. Works unfailingly, and it just kills any shot that generally sensible libs may at last vote their inner voice. Obviously, there are times when the left gets significantly nastier than simply fake news. Once in a while, they go in for absolute voter suppression. In related news, liberals are currently attempting to smother the votes of the elderly. All things considered, they're quite recently old individuals. For that reason, would it be a good idea for them to, in any case, have the privilege to vote? This woman and man of their word is the manner by which outrageous the left has gotten via Conservative Tribune. Liberals are grumbling about how the elderly no longer deserve the right to vote since they don't vote progressive enough. The topic was raised in July by McLean's with author Daniel Monroe, considering arguments as to why the elderly should have their voting rights revoked at some point, such as around 70 years old. The idea is that once citizens reach a certain age, they will be less concerned with our social, political, and economic future than younger generations, and much less likely to bear the long-term consequences of political decisions and policies. In that case, their vote ought to be discontinued or eliminated altogether. Sickening. By that, as it may, possibly Monroe is only a screwball. Possibly he's not mainstream dynamic idea. That is to say, dislike two individuals are making this connection. George Chesterton noted that elderly people often have their driver's licenses revoked when they are deemed unfit to continue driving, and also noted that prisoners are not allowed to vote, thus proving that revoking voting rights from certain segments of the population isn't infringing upon democracy. On the off chance that somebody says something insane once, expect it's a joke. Senile elderly shouldn't be allowed to drive or vote. Senile old people believe Trump is the new Reagan because GOP, it's a serious issue. A few times, consider them important. Furthermore, respect your senior citizens. Let's just take a quick listen.
Or she says that will remain a secret. But others in her age group may not even get the chance to vote. According to Dr. Jason Karlowicz, problems with voting in places like nursing homes are becoming more prevalent.
Many facilities have reported to us that there were residents who wanted to vote but were unable to vote, largely because of remedial procedural problems.
Karlowicz has studied this issue and recently testified about it on Capitol Hill.
People who live in long-term care facilities are sort of doubly harmed, if you will. On the one hand, their right to vote can be taken away, meaning there are a number of barriers to their ability to vote. Getting registered, applying for an absentee ballot, getting that absentee ballot, getting assistance filling it out, and then getting it in, or if they don't apply for an absentee ballot, getting to a polling place.
In a study he conducted in Philadelphia, 88% of nursing and assisted living homes surveyed said that residents didn't vote in a local election because staff thought they were mentally impaired to do so.
They can quite literally decide whether someone's competent or not to vote. thereby taking away the right to vote of people who very well are capable of voting.
That means that nursing home employees are making a constitutional and legal judgment call that some suggest should be made by the government.
I voted for Barack Obama.
Leslie Elston has lived in this Virginia nursing home for 2 years, and she says she votes by absentee.
Right now, if a person wants to vote, they just have to tell the nursing home. And if they tell the nursing home and they get on the register, then they can send in an absentee ballot.
Virginia is one of 27 states that doesn't have any guidelines for voting in long-term care facilities.
So it's left to each facility to decide what they want to do and how they're going to do it.
At Elston and Rawlings home, it's up to the residents to be proactive.
They don't just naturally come around and say, would you like to vote? You have to say something.
All of our residents here, of course, have the opportunity and the option to vote in any election if they are a registered voter.
Trickett does admit that residents are assessed regularly, and she says those evaluations may help to determine whether someone is capable of voting if they seem confused or have a mental impairment like dementia.
If someone said they didn't know any of the candidates on the ballot, then yeah, we probably have some concern about, whether or not the voting process is something that they should be involved with. But if they're able to let us know what's going on, the dementia diagnosis itself should never prohibit that from happening.
You don't really need to decide up front before an election whether someone's capable of voting, is competent of voting. That is to say, amongst people who say, I want to vote, the next step is, well, let's go out and get you your ballot and go ahead and vote. As opposed to let me determine if you're competent to vote because you have a mini mental state score of 20 because of mild Alzheimer's disease.
Not all nursing home residents are incapable of making decisions.
U.S. Election Assistance Commission, which helps states meet federal voting requirements, agrees and is working to make the system better.
What we're hoping is that if the state doesn't require it, but allows it, that the election official would more actively look for opportunities to provide a nonpartisan service to those facilities.
Ultimately, any change in voting procedures is left up to the individual states, but the issue up for debate is whether staff at long-term care facilities has the right to decide who can and cannot vote.
It's a congregate living situation where the staff really have say about what goes on.
Karlawish is urging the government to adopt mobile polling. It's a practice used in Australia where election officials set up portable polling stations at places where people can't get out to vote. He said that would clean up state laws that disenfranchise people and make voting more accessible to everyone. For UPI.com, I'm Kristen Volk.
Well, thank you so much for watching, and let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you.